Hey everyone, welcome to Coming Down. My name is Nathan, and here we are again for the third week without Matthew in the room. I do have a message from him at the end, so stay tuned for that. This is the end of the road, folks. We only have this episode in the bank, and beyond that, we don't have anything recorded. So I think at this point we are just going to go on hiatus, much like many other things in the world out there. We just like recording in person. It's just too crucial to the format, and that's just really what we like to do, is get together with people and have conversations in the room, be able to clink cans and, do that whole thing. What I will do, though, as I've been talking about, if anyone still wants to send in an audio journal or log or of anything you want to talk about, tell me a story about anything or what you're doing during this lockdown, any movies, TV shows, music you've been enjoying while this has all been going on, or even just rants and feelings about anything in the world. I would love to hear it, and I'll collaborate those together into an episode, and I'll release that at some point down the road. I've already had a couple people send some things in, so I'd like to get a few more, and literally just record it on your phone, email it to me, comingdownpod@gmail.com, and I will, stitch it all together and make it into a fun episode. But beyond that, this is it, and I don't know how long it's going to be before we return. So a couple of things with that. As of today, I'm going to just suspend the Patreon. So for all you lovely people who are donating us money every month, obviously not going to expect you to chip in money while we're not putting anything out. So you don't have to worry about that. And also, thank you to everyone, because I don't think anyone has suspended their contribution to us in all of this. I mean, God, money is a weird thing right now. I won't even say money is tight. Nobody knows where it's coming from. Some of us are doing okay, some of us aren't. So thank you to everyone who has continued to contribute. That just means the world to me. And but obviously, if we're not doing anything, I wouldn't expect anyone to give me anything. So that's going to go on hiatus. You won't get charged. You don't have to do anything on your end. It's just going to be suspended. You'll still be a member. And when it goes live again, I'll let everyone know, and then that'll just be that. So that's happening. And then, I don't know, I guess, if anything comes up, or if I just feel like ranting into a microphone, or if Matthew sends me something about him ranting into a microphone, I'll release it. I'll put it out. Something else that might happen, in fact, the guest this week is my dear friend Jesse, and I have been working on another podcast with him for the better part of a year now. It's been a process. It didn't come together as easy as Coming Down did, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't want to I don't want to give away too much of what it is, because I kind of want it to be a surprise. But that is hopefully going to come out soon. We've been recording for a while, and we've got a bunch of episodes, and we're just kind of putting the final touches on everything. So when that comes out, I'll drop an episode into this feed, and you all can check it out and get some information on that. I don't know when it's coming out. Hopefully in a couple weeks, maybe in a month. I don't know. That's just how these things go. Also, things are just hard now, so there's that. I think that's kind of all the housekeeping news and kind of just everything to let you know what's going on. I don't have anything to report or anything interesting, because once again, I think since I last recorded, I have almost literally not left my house. I think I drove somewhere, and that's it. So I don't have anything interesting going on. Nothing exciting has been happening, but no news is good news, as always. So with that, I will leave you with this episode. I really hope you enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. In fact, I'm kind of glad that we're ending on this episode. For everyone who hasn't gotten caught up by now, you will really enjoy this one. There are a lot of laughs, and I just think it really, brings a lot of levity to the situation we're all in right now. And so I hope you enjoy it very much, because listening back, I was laughing. At least I'm getting a kick out of this. So that's that, and let's go. We will see you fucking someday, I guess.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew, recording live from my bunker at the edge of the apocalypse. It's weird that this is the last one of these I'm going to be doing for a little while. hoping that we come up with a way to produce some more of this content that you all know and love. But for now, we don't really know how that's possible without drastically changing the tone, and we don't really want to do that. We like what we've got going, and we want to continue to produce more of that content. We just can't do it right now. So fingers crossed that either things change soon or we figure something out. Until then, I guess this is our last installment temporarily. So I hope that you're all doing well out there. I myself am kind of embarrassed at how well I'm adjusting to life in isolation. Mostly I just miss seeing the people that I care about and doing this podcast. Other than that, I'm doing pretty great. So I hope that the rest of you are adjusting to this drastic change well. We're in it for the long haul right now, but I genuinely believe that we're going to be out of this before too long, and we're all going to be laughing about how it used to be impossible to find toilet paper at the grocery store. So best of luck to all of you out there. Love you all. And without further ado, let's go!
So, where does this story take place?
Right. Well, speaking of upheaval.
Yeah.
Right? So, this story, I want to take everyone back to the year of 2006.
All right.
I believe. This would have been my sophomore year of high school.
Back to the early 21st century.
And so there's a cast of characters here, and I love them dearly. One of them is me, who, shout out to me. I'm great.
My favorite character.
Yeah. So this story revolves around a trip that I took to see my friend Brooke. I met Brooke in 8th grade in English class. I was reading Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, because I was, I guess I'd gotten tired of rereading the same Harry Potter book again and again ad nauseum. I'm pretty sure that I've read The Goblet of Fire 14 to 16 times.
Damn, that's a lot of times.
Yeah.
That one in particular.
That one in particular, because
why that one?
So it's still my favorite, but at the time it was just I got that book on release night when it came out, and all of the other ones, I was a little bit late to the party on the first one, and then you read the second one.
Wait, yeah, where's this fall in? Because there's 7 books, yeah?
Yeah.
And this is the 3rd one?
The Goblet of Fire is the 4th.
Okay.
Which I think might have come out after this trip, but who knows? Lost to the mists of time.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really good one, but I also had it the soonest relative to all of the other ones, and there was a really sizable gap between when that one came out and when the 5th one came out. And I read really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I read really fast because when I was a smaller child, my dad was a process server, and we would go out to all these different cities so he could serve people their legal papers in his tiny Geo Metro.
And he'd bring his kid along.
Yeah. I just hang out.
Yeah.
Nothing sketch ever happened to my knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, sure. He didn't have you deliver the news?
No. No, I just hung out in the car.
Bring a little kid to the door.
Yeah, right. Are you so-and-so? Yes. You've been served.
Right?
No, I wasn't.
Also, would you like to buy some popcorn for my Boy Scout group?
But no, we would scoot our boot all across the state. It wasn't until maybe the time that this story takes place that I learned that the Boondocks was not an actual city. Because that's always where we were going to deliver these papers.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident I've been to every major city in Oregon, like with my dad on these trips.
That's so funny.
But I have no idea where. Like, if you asked me where Gladstone is relevant to here, I have no fucking clue. Forest Grove, who knows?
What about Drain?
Drain's everywhere, man.
Drain's a state of mind, bro.
Astoria is on the coast.
I would also like to inform you that BFE is not a real place either.
Incorrect. Egypt is a place.
But no, so the reason why that made me good at reading was I would read my Animorphs book by the streetlights as we passed them going home.
So that's why you had to read fast.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's wild.
Yeah. It's my secret special skill that I developed over many hours. But also means that if I have to read like a really long page, it gets a little extra exhausting. So I like it when they break up the
Well, no,
paragraphs.
I mean, do you just carry
gotta get a paragraph per light. At least.
Yeah, I was gonna say just carry a strobe around with you and just put it on the low, the low setting, so it just flashes.
Oh, Lord.
I think nowadays I would just use a light, but
Wait, really? Oh wait, that makes sense. All right, yeah.
this is another thing that I'm not sure if my parents were just lying to me or if it's an actual law. There are the lights in your car that you can. I'm gesturing
There's
as
lights
to turn them on and
in
off.
the car, dome light.
Yeah, dome lights. Yeah, on the inside, and I would want to use those to read on account of how bright and constant they were.
Welcome to the longest running argument with me and my father.
Dude.
So my dad insisted that it was illegal.
Incorrect.
Okay. I was today years old when I finally confirmed that. But he was like, yeah, sorry, it's the law. I was like, oh, no. Guess I'll read by streetlight. These insanely focused eyes.
I mean, fucking flashlight. I'd fuck.
I recently saw a meme about that was like, just basically pointing out that every father just like bitches about having the dome light on and
yeah I believe it's ingrained in the genetics of our species.
The
next time
it is a bit distracting to try and drive with it on.
Okay, so if you have any internal light, it reflects on the windshield, which makes it hard to see what's coming at you.
Yeah,
but here's the deal.
Not illegal.
First of all, it's absolutely not illegal. And secondly, if your eyes adjust to it, you can see fine.
Yeah.
I don't even look at the road when I drive anyway. It's all autopilot at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, like...
Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Muscle memory, that shit.
I just drive the same route every day. I go to the same 4 places.
I just keep the line underneath my left eye and we're good.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so reading Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers in 8th grade, mysterious transfer student Brooke comes up to me after class, and like this dude, like, you know how like in 8th grade maybe a couple of dudes had like some scruff?
Yeah.
This might be a little bit distorted due to like the lens of time. I believe he had a full beard.
No, Brooke had a beard?
Yes.
There were occasionally those kids in 8th grade.
I knew several Brooks growing up, and they were all female. So
Brooke identified as male, and I believe currently does, and I haven't seen his dick, but I think it exists. I believe he has a kid now. So
all right.
Excellent.
Shout out to Brooke.
Penis confirmed.
Were his parents hippies?
Oh, so his parents are the best religious people I've ever met in my life.
Interesting.
They are wonderful. His dad was on the city council, maybe in Portland for a number of years, maybe somewhere else, like where they lived before, but they did a whole lot of like native outreach ministry.
Okay.
And being like actually helpful to people. And they're wonderful, wonderful people.
Well, Fuck yeah. That's what I get for trying to gender a name.
Right. But yeah, no, he has a younger sister named Shahala, so they must also be somewhat hippies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not argue with that line of thinking.
Hey, there's crystal Christians. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right? No, I mean, wait, never mind. I was about to tell a work story, and we shouldn't go there. Suffice it to say, I know a woman named Silver Crystal.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Underneath the silver crystal lake.
Indeed.
But, yeah, so we became, like, super fast friends. He's the reason why I started going to youth group.
Wait, and it was the Two Towers that was the catalyst. Like, he saw you reading Two Towers.
Oh yeah,
and
he's
was
a
like,
gigantic nerd.
Oh, buddy.
He was like, elves? You're reading a book about elves? And I was like, yeah, it seems pretty good so far. Like, I read The Hobbit first.
It's no Goblet of Fire.
It seems to be mostly people walking. But,
Yeah, right. No, I remember, like, I definitely enjoyed The Lord of the Rings, but I did not read them tens of times.
Yeah.
And I was reading my stepdad's, like, they're not like first editions, but they're like really early printing, like paperback, like borderline falling apart.
Cool.
Yeah, Brooke thought so. So we became friends. He invited me to start going to youth group with him, which was a place that wasn't my house during a weekday.
Yeah.
So that was a lot
Yeah.
of fun to like just go to and like party and like, I mean, not party, like it was youth group.
Sure.
But there were
cut up with some kids.
Yeah.
You're like, it's this or serving papers with dad.
And
Take
also,
church, thank you very much.
there's also something to be said about being a young lad and being introduced to a new population of girls.
Right.
And you walk in and you're like, they don't know I'm a total loser.
Right.
The worst that they could happen is they find out,
Yeah.
and then, oh no, it's this other thing I live with. Like,
Right.
just find
Yeah, and then
something
we're
else
just
to do.
back to square one.
Yeah, right? Like, nothing to lose. 3 rolls all the time. But, no, he was a great dude. Through him, I met this other dude named David, who was also just a lifelong bro of mine. An event that happens in this story is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen a person do, as just like a feat of like, how the fuck did this happen? So it's sophomore year. Brooke moved away, I think, at the beginning of freshman year, and he moved to a city called Port Townsend,
Right.
which is like almost Canada, Washington.
Yeah.
It was very far away.
Okay.
And so we hadn't seen him because he moved away, and
But you stayed in touch.
yeah, we stayed in touch. And for his birthday over spring break, his parents wanted me and David to go up and visit him for like the weekend because they were going to have like a bonfire and all this fun stuff.
Sure.
And they like paid for our train tickets up there.
Nice.
And like, so we had a plan, and none of this happened the way that it was supposed to, but we did technically have a plan. This was the year before I had my own cell phone, and this might be the event that prompted me getting my own cell phone.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna do the setup from Fallen I want to tell you a story about the time I almost died. Which is how that movie starts. It's great. But yeah, no.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
All right, I'll insert it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the Denzel line.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So I had my mom's cell phone. Brooke's family had their like home phone, but they did not have a cell phone themselves. They had the number to my mom's cell phone. And the plan was, we're going to get on the train, leaves like, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock, but it's going to go all the way up to Seattle. And that was like, I don't know, like a 6-hour train ride.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into Seattle like 9 or 10. and they're going to meet us at the train station, and they're going to drive us the 3 hours back to his place.
Good God.
And yeah, but like, we're kids and we don't really have any other option.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like a fun ride anyway. I took my stepdad's laptop, which at the time, like, this laptop was very nice in 1998.
Ooh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah, so it was huge.
Yeah.
It was like 4 inches thick.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But it could play Lords of Magic, which is a great computer game. And you can play it. I use cheat codes all the time, so I didn't really play it. But you got to cast like spells and stuff and do all this shit. It was
Cool.
kind of like an RTS. Anyway, I digress. Because a lot is going to go wrong on this trip. So we get all of our shit packed up. We have our itinerary. We're all ready to go. This is like the first trip that I'm taking like away from my family. Mm-hmm. That's not just like me spending the night at someone's house who lives a little bit farther away.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time where like, if I maybe came close to death, they're like 9 hours away from seeing me.
Yeah.
Right. But like, we get on the train, get all our stuff loaded up, we're all seated, and it's a train. We're at the Amtrak station downtown. And all right, cool. So it'll be like 6 hours of just being bored on a train, playing this computer game until the battery dies.
Right, which you probably got in an hour or two.
Oh, yeah.
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 And then I guess after that, just babbling mindlessly to ourselves.
Yeah, but kids are
until
good
we
at
get
that.
there.
You
Yeah,
know?
like
Yeah.
we David and I had that skill set.
Yeah.
We still have that skill set. So we get on the train, and they're like, "We're a train, and we're gonna start going now, and we'll see you at the first stop." So, yeah, whatever. All right, cool. Train starts going, goes through downtown, across the river, get into some like woods. There's a little stream going by. And we're like, okay, like
It's happening.
yeah, we made it through like downtown. Having like, I don't know if the train had to like stop at like intersections or anything like that, but like once you hit the forest, you had the idea of like, all right, now the train is going to start picking up speed, and we're going to get to our place. Like, all right, cool. Like
Sure.
we're coasting for a little while.
Doing train things.
Yeah, doing train things. And then the train stopped doing train things. It just slowed to a stop in the middle of the fucking forest.
Oh, no.
And we're like, this doesn't seem like it's a stop. This doesn't seem like a place where people get on or off.
Woodland Meadows.
Right. And yeah, so we're just sitting there, look around a little bit. Yep, there's that babbling brook. What's going on? I mean, not Brooke from the story. I mean, I didn't see him there.
Sure.
See him much later.
Ironically, you did call him Babbling Brook.
Yeah. So, like,
Weird nickname, but
15 minutes go by, and then the train starts moving again. And we're like,
Okay.
it's kind of wild that you would stop in the middle. We're stopping again, huh?
Huh.
Just,
there are cows on the
you
tracks.
move just enough to, like, give us hope. Well, that's not great. There's another, like, 15, 20 minutes of silence. And
Nobody's
then,
coming by to tell you what's going
What,
on.
No.
announcements? That's some bullshit.
Well, after, like, the 20 minutes, there was an announcement. And the announcement was, you may have noticed that we're stopped. Like, as a matter of fact, I did. We have encountered, I don't know, some kind of non-specific problem that you don't need to worry about. So just kind of hang out and, you know, things will be cool. Like, we'll update you when there's something to update you on. And then we got another update in 45 minutes
Oh, Jesus.
after just none of the movement there. All right, so the problem is a little bit more serious than we had anticipated. So we're going to need some engineers to come out to us. We are currently in the middle of the forest. So, yeah, cool. Anyway,
Hang tight.
yeah. And we're in the middle of the forest. I have a cell phone with no service, so it doesn't matter that I have one. But even if I had service, like, I guess I could have called them earlier. So yeah, it's a relevant deal that I don't have service in this forest because I can't call them and say we've been stuck in the woods for an hour.
Right.
We're gonna be at least an hour late.
Yeah, we're gonna be rolling in a bit later.
Yeah. So,
But like, surely at the station they can see like delays and stuff.
Sure.
Right?
And I mean, I imagine that, you know, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that someone would call just to make sure the train's on time before they leave, you know?
maybe
Yeah.
that could have happened.
Yeah.
By the time that I got there, I was not in a state to really pay attention to that. So, another hour passes.
Oh shit.
And, okay, folks, looks like we did a thing, and we're gonna go ahead and get rolling here. So we get rolling, and we make it to our first, like, official stop.
Jesus, you haven't even made it to fucking Tacoma yet.
No, we're like
Oh my God.
maybe a little past Vancouver. Like,
Fuck.
we're not fucking close to where we need to be, and we are delayed.
Yeah.
And I call their like house number, and I leave a message, because I don't think that they answered, saying, "Hey, this is Jesse."
Oh, because they probably wouldn't have hit the road quite yet,
No,
or it would have
like-
been kind of close. I don't know.
Yeah, they might have been leaving in like the space of like an hour or whatever. I was like, hey, we've been delayed, but it looks like we're moving again, and we just stopped at this stop, so I'm a kid, I don't know logistics.
Right.
Anyway, the rest of this phone call, bye. We get started again, and then we stop again for a little bit,
Oh no.
and we kind of keep going. It wasn't until we hit the like our third stop, it was getting proper dark outside,
Oh, Christ.
and I got off of the train at the stop because you know they give you like 10 minutes to like fuck
sure.
around and do whatever. I was like, I need to stretch my legs. My whole body feels like it's dying. And while I'm out there, there's one of the like train attendant people is explaining to somebody else just what in the heck happened. While we were going through the woods, like right after we departed, a tree fell in the forest and hit us in the engine,
Holy
Whoa.
shit.
to the point where like it disabled the engine. The like first announcement that we got was them getting out of the train and being like, it's probably fine, it's made out of train.
Yeah, right? Yeah, train v tree. I
Yeah.
think the train comes out on top most of the
Yeah.
time.
I would agree.
Then they called in the engineers who looked at it, and then I guess there was some talk of like needing to swap the engine out.
Oh, jeez.
But then I guess they just decided to let it ride because, to my memory, they didn't have us get on a different train and keep going. We rode this train like the whole way up. I think I talked to them on the phone then, and like just had the super bad feels of like we're gonna be like 3 hours late.
Yeah, you're going to be picking this up at like midnight now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks. I don't know. And they were so chill about it.
Yeah.
And so we do eventually roll up in there, and like I'm thinking it must be between like midnight and 1, because it is late for, you know, a sophomore in high school.
Sure.
But I'll never forget seeing like Brooke's dad and his mom and his little sister and little brother and him there just like waving at us, super happy to see us. Like, hey guys, how's it going? What's happening? And we were like,
That's cute.
we're fucking exhausted, but holy shit, you just drove like 3 hours after like maybe even like turning around halfway
Yeah.
through like your first trip. And they were so cool about it. We pile into their car, and it's that thing where like when the train finally pulled up to the station and we knew we were getting out, we're like, oh, thank God, like we made it. And then we see them and they're like, yay, cool. And we're like, we made it. And they're like, here's the car, 3 hours back to the house.
Yeah.
We're dead.
Right. We forgot about this part.
No. And so it wasn't until I was thinking about this story in preparation to like tell it that I realized I saw a like mythical power move years before it was ever like referenced as a meme.
Okay.
So it's like 1 a.m. We're pulling out and leaving, Brooke's younger brother for sure, and maybe his younger sister to some extent, as we're driving by a McDonald's, start saying, "Oh, McDonald's, we should go to McDonald's. Yay, McDonald's." And his dad pulls into the McDonald's, gets one black coffee, and leaves. And, like, to his credit,
so
it's just
brutal.
like, yeah. Like, it sounds brutal in, like, retrospect, but at the time, he was like, I need this coffee to stay awake. I need you guys to not eat so you can fucking fall asleep.
Exactly. Oh,
But man, like, I pass out on the ride there. We get to their property, which is like this beautiful property that had been donated to them by the church that they had moved up there to work with. I had like more than like 10 acres to it. Like, this is a big property. And we go into like the like bungalow thing that Brooke lives in, because he, being the eldest, has his own like little separate place from like the main
sick.
house. Yeah,
Rad.
and we go in there, and I just find the first most convenient place to be face down,
Yeah.
and I live in that zone, and it feels like forever, but really it was only like 4 or 5 hours. So we wake up, and we are ready to start the rest of our day, because there's going to be a bonfire tonight. Tomorrow we're gonna like get up and like get breakfast, and then scoot our boots home. Like, that's kind of our agenda, and we're gonna fill in some stuff.
So you
The
rolled
interim.
in on like a Friday or whatever. We're gonna spend Saturday and then head home on Sunday. Basically.
Yeah.
God, that is a long haul just for like a day of kicking it.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Worth it though. I love this dude.
Hell yeah.
So we wake up, and he is so excited to show us a bunch of the stuff that he has learned living on this like property. It's like forest everywhere, right? And he wants to show David and I how to fell a tree.
Okay.
All right.
And we're like, okay, like axes, breaking stuff, cool.
Yeah.
This is all great. Sophomore in high school, this all tracks.
You got
Yeah.
a train we can hit it with?
Yeah, right?
We got some theories we want to test.
Now, if it's going this fast, and then I need to be at a place, like, will it destroy the engine? So, he shows us, like, you have, like, an axe or, like, a chainsaw, and then there are little wedges that you put in. You just cut enough to put the wedge in, and then you put the wedge in, and you hit it, and then it'll fall the way you want it to fall.
Right.
And he demonstrates all of this, and he's like, see, and now we're going to make it fall this way. And this is relevant because it foreshadows that I am an attentive person.
Okay.
Because he has this all like set up. He's like, yeah, and now we're going to just give it a little push, and it's going to fall. And I look up, and, you know, it's a tree-sized tree. You know, it's of forest height. And then I look, and I was like, oh, okay, so if we push it, it'll fall, and then it's going to hit those power lines. And that's probably going to be a problem, not just because it's going to hit the power lines. You also live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we probably shouldn't do this.
Duh.
And he's like, okay, but we can't take the blocks out because then it's just going to fall and do the other thing. So we wrapped like a chain around the tree and pulled it in the other direction. With like a V shape. Like, we didn't pull the tree directly down on
Yeah,
top
no,
of us,
no,
but-
of course, yeah.
And we pull it, and it was like a dead and rotted tree. We were gonna make like firewood out of it. And when it fell, it just broke into perfect firewood-sized pieces.
Nice.
Yes.
Like, shout out to Stardew Valley. Like,
Love
that happened in real life, and we were like, that was so much easier than we thought it was gonna be.
Didn't have to buck that tree at all.
Yeah, no, just bang right there. Like, I don't know what people are complaining about. Like, being a lumberjack's easy. You just don't hit the power lines, and then it just fucking squares itself.
Nice.
So,
Self-firewooding trees.
yeah.
Love it.
Just easy. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so the next thing that Brooke is very excited about, and this was, I believe, a surprise for David and I. It must have... No. Who knows? So the next thing that Brooke is very excited about is his family has a sailboat. Mm-hmm. And the sailboat is maybe like 10 to 12 feet long. You can fit like 5 or 6 people on it. And Brooke has gone out sailing with his dad a whole bunch. I think his dad was like a proper sailor, and Brooke would be like his skipper.
Sure.
And they would go and they would do all their sailing stuff, and that was great. But Brooke's turning 18. Sophomore in high school turning 18. Who knows? Maybe I got the year wrong. But he's turning 18, and that means that, you know, he is now a man, and he gets to be the captain of the boat.
Nice.
He has officially, like, earned that rite of passage.
And he's got a couple fresh young skippers
Yeah.
to join his ranks.
You'll be the cabin boy.
Right?
You'll be the first mate.
So the plan is that we're going to go to the sailboat, and Brooke's dad will get us, like, launched from the dock. But then we're going to, like, sail down to this beach that's nearby, and he's going to get off, and this other guy who, like, he didn't come up with David and I, so I have no idea why he was there, but his name is Monty, and he was on the boat. So he went to high school with David and I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't remember why he was up there, but
He just ended up there somehow.
yeah, he was just up there.
All right.
So he's up there, and so Brooke's dad's gonna get off the boat, Monty's gonna get on the boat, we're gonna go sail. Mm-hmm. This is great. So we get started, like, getting ready for this. They have not enough full wetsuits, so I have a half wetsuit.
Now, what's a half webs? Like just the
A
pants?
short sleeve, short legs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's called a shorty.
Ah, okay. Like, well, you get the pants, you get the shirt. I'll take the gloves and the booties.
Right?
And who gets the nipple guards?
You have to fight for the nipple guard. That's right. 'Cause we're going into Puget Sound. But yeah, so I think, yeah, we have, like, all of our clothes on over that, and then we're going out to the boat. And I was doing stagecraft in high school, and basically for my entire life, it's not been the same pair of shoes, but at any point in time, I have one pair of shoes
Right.
that I
Yeah.
wear. I'll have, like, now I have, like, a dress pair of shoes that I'll wear for, like, formal events or job interviews or whatever. But I just have, like, the one set of shoes. And because I was doing stagecraft in high school, my one pair of shoes that I had were steel-toe boots,
Nice.
Got it.
which are not really the kind of thing that you want to wear on a sailboat.
Nope.
No, so they're like proper boots without tread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think they, like, this is, like, in a time before Crocs. So I think I might have, like, either
glorious
just been
time
in
it
my
was.
socks,
Oh, how I long for those halcyon days.
right? Or I might have had some type of, like, other deck shoe. But before we, like, embarked, I had to take both of my steel-toed boots off, and I put them underneath, like, the front part of the boat. Mm. There wasn't, like, a stowage area, but it was just, like, it was covered, and you could put stuff up and under there.
Little cubby.
Yeah. And foreshadowing a little bit, one of those shoes made it home with me. So we launched from the docks. Everything, so far as I can tell, is going great.
We're sailing.
Yeah, I've been out on, like, a fishing boat before, but I've not been on a boat on the ocean before, and I've not been on a sailboat before.
Yeah, actually, totally. 'Cause, yeah, your first time out on the water is definitely a thing. And, like, a lake's different than the ocean,
Oh, yeah.
and all
Well,
boats are sort of different.
Sailboat, like, has a lot more tilt to it than your average motorboat, you know?
Nodding vigorously.
Yeah, you gotta get your sea legs on that motherfucker.
So we do the drop off, pick up Monty, we start heading out. And
Oh, right, because you sailed to a spot, pick this dude up, and then head back out?
yeah.
Okay.
And after we get out there, we don't really have, like, a destination. We're not, like, gonna sail to this island. We're not gonna, like, we didn't make plans to, like, loop around anywhere. We're just several dumb children in a boat in Puget Sound.
Just faffing about.
Yeah. And really, like, so we shouldn't have been there because there was a small craft advisory for that day. and we were in a small craft.
Oh, and that means like the water's rough.
The wind.
The
wind was gusty.
Okay.
And it would change direction a lot.
That's not what you want.
That's not what you want.
Junior sailboat trip.
And you don't know that at the time. I didn't even think about like checking the weather or anything like that. It's like, we're going on a boat. Sounds like fun.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to cast aspersions at the adult supervisors who might have been involved here, but you would think that maybe one of them would have.
Yeah, I mean, like
checked the wind advisories. You know,
that was definitely an oversight, but I think everyone was just really excited. They had this thing planned out, and it was in May.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't have been terribly cold. I don't know about May in Washington. Maybe it shouldn't be very windy. It was, but maybe it shouldn't have been. And the day started out like weather-wise calm. But so we launched from that beach, and we're going, and we don't really have a particular direction. But we do notice, like way off in the distance, there's a ferry. Like a giant boat, not like a little mythical creature.
you could have worked. You could have pulled the taffy on that one.
Right. How would we see it if it's way off in the distance? Ferries are so small.
It's a giant ferry.
God, we see its head poke up from the deep, and we knew we should have checked the ferry advisories for that day. No, there's just this big boat. It's way off in the distance, and it's pointed right at us.
Oh.
And we're not thinking like, oh no, we're gonna get smashed by this boat.
Right.
It's more like, oh, we need to do something about this eventually.
Yeah, it's way out there.
Yeah, or like if we do nothing for like 20 minutes, we're gonna go under this ferry. So let's figure out how to go the other way. And to our credit, we figured out how to go the other way.
Well done.
Yeah, we executed I believe it's called a jibe turn. Something
Sounds
like
like
that.
jibe to me.
Yeah, all jibe to me.
I like the cut of your jib.
Right. Which this sailboat had a jib.
Yep.
It's
Is that where that term comes from?
yes.
Literally, yeah.
That's a sailor thing?
Yeah, the cut, as in the cut of your sail
Oh.
on your jib. Yeah.
I had no idea. I never even questioned it.
We're learning things here. I'm coming down.
It's funny the things you don't question.
Yeah, right.
Like I'd always heard that phrase and it's like, who gives a fuck what a jib is? I know what the phrase means.
Right.
You can use it in context.
Yeah,
We're
totally.
good, right?
It's some old timey thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, it is.
Yeah.
And then you found out that it was incredibly racist, and
Oh
Right.
God,
who knew? Not that one. Not that one.
my whole life. God, I have another story
Plenty
that
of
I'm
other
not
ones.
going to tell on the internet, but put a pin in that for later.
Today
It's
is coming down.
hilarious.
Jesse does not tell a story.
Right?
Well, I look forward to the off-air story here.
Yeah. No, that story is also wild, but it's a
Coming
word that I
down
can't bring myself to
after
say.
Yeah, after we wrap this one up, we're going to tell a real scorcher.
So, all right. So, sailboat, and it's got sails, right?
Right.
And if you point the sail in a certain way, it will catch the wind in a certain way to make you go a certain way.
Right.
This
So,
is science. Yeah.
If you want to move your boat, you move the sails. And we get our sail into a position that we like where we're going with the wind. And when you have achieved that, so there's a rope that you can like either pull on or like let go that will change the direction of your sail. And when you have reached peak sail direction, you wedge it between two cleats so that it doesn't move.
Sure.
So that your sail will keep going how you want it to go. And we did that.
Right?
And that was great. And a fatal mistake, as it turns out. I mean, not fatal.
Right.
Near fatal mistake. Actual near fatal mistake.
Is this a ghost host?
Yeah, right. But,
First time ever
right?
that we know of.
The listener can't prove that I'm real. But so that gets done, and then there's a little bit of conversation going on the boat about like, well, where should we go? Like, what should we do? Should we try and do like a lap around? You know, there's an island over there. Do we want to? get close enough to it and then turn around.
Right.
And while we're talking about all this, the wind suddenly changes direction.
Uh-huh.
And it's very strong about it. And it makes the sail push around to the other way and swing across the ship.
Oh, shit.
Which they've told us can happen. So everyone is like kind of perched on the like edge of the boat so that the sail like physically cannot just hit you and knock you over the boat. And so that happens, and then we all kind of adjust to that. Right? But then, okay, like everything's cool. Start thinking about other stuff. And every time that we've done a turn, so you mentioned earlier that the sailboat will dip quite a bit more than any other boat.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And me, perceptive boy, I'm tapping my forehead. I'm tapping my temple. Every time that we have like executed a turn, the water has come pretty close to like over the edge of the boat.
Oh yeah, it'll get right up there. Yeah.
And every time that that's happened, you know, me being the like meek coward boy of the group, kind of turned to them and was like, guys, the water and the edge.
Well, you really can't let it get too high up there, cause
You really can. But so I say that like 3 times every time it gets kind of close, and they're like, that's literally just how turning on the boat works. Like,
Right.
don't worry about it. It's cool. Be cooler than you are. Which is what I tried to do for the rest of high school. But so that happens, and then, you know, we get into the thing where the wind gust comes up, the sail swings across, and, you know, again, we're tipping down a little bit, but I'm like, they told me to just shut up, so I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet on this one and just hope that it just kind of is a thing.
Like, I'm not going to point out the power lines for the 5th time.
Right. Like, listen, I'm not going to be called a coward
Right.
for the billionth time. If this thing's going to flip, it's going to flip.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, man. And every other time that I've mentioned something, it's like, it gets to the point where, like, I should say something and I'm saying it. No, this is okay. Okay. There's like a range where like you would be worried about it, like, okay, the water is at a respectable distance, I'm not worried about it. Oh, it's getting a little closer, it's getting a little closer. And then as like close as it gets, then it goes back down.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it's just like bang, like it just started creeping up way too quickly.
Yep.
And like I'm on the left side of the boat. The sail is to my right because it's in the center of the boat.
So you're on port side.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done. David and Brooke are on starboard.
Indeed.
Monty is behind me.
Aft.
He's aft, yes, thank you. And so the boat starts going, and it's tilting. And that water should not be like that close. And also, just my sense of balance, I can feel like this boat is gonna be horizontal very soon.
Yep.
And I turn and I look at the sail, and I run some quick simulations in my head. So I've been into the water before, and if the boat just kind of like keeps turning at its rate that it is, and I go into the water, I will enter the water, and then the very next thing that will happen is the sail will smack me
Yeah.
and start pushing me down.
Yep.
And that's something that they made me aware of when I was positioned on that side of the boat. So, thinking about that and how I don't want that to happen, what are my options to make that not happen? Well, I could just dive into the water first.
Just bail.
Yeah. It's like
gutsy move, but
it's like basically my option. And like, all right, well, I don't want to like jump because if I jump, I'm going to like slip.
Yeah.
So I just kind of scoot my butt up a little bit. I have my back facing the water. I plug my nose and I do the like diver tip out of the boat routine. And I do that like moments before the boat just like tips over.
Oh, shit.
Like,
so you went ass over tea kettle, and then the boat just fucking dips.
yeah, then the boat followed. And there was a part of me that was worried that I'm going to bail out into the fucking ocean and then the boat's going to right itself.
And it's
I'm
just fine.
Yeah, I'm going to look like the biggest fucking asshole.
Yeah. But guys, there were power lines.
Right. I think right about the time that, I made the decision to commit into falling back into the water, I felt the water coming up over the sides.
Yeah.
And also worth noting, I do not have a life vest on.
Oh.
Right. Does anyone?
Not that I remember. They were, there.
You guys are just raw dogging it, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe I had a life vest? I don't know. No, I didn't, because there were, floaty, seat things. And I held on to one of those for a little bit later. So anyway, I'm in the water. In, my, shitty cargo pants.
Yeah.
And, t-shirt and my half wetsuit. In fucking Puget Sound.
That's not great.
Yeah. I don't recommend it.
A shorty is actually not that warm, even in the water off the coast of Maui. In the wintertime, wearing a shorty in Maui, I was cold.
Oof.
So,
Yeah.
So I hit the water, and I don't go into shock, which is great. Great for me.
Yeah.
This is one of those times where I'm remember that time where there was a lot of pressure and you kind of kept cool? You did really good there. You're going to nail this interview, buddy. Oh, you're nervous about your first date? Do you remember that time a fucking boat capsized on top of you? You were chill then. Be chill now. So I'm down in the water, tumbling around. Everything feels so much deeper than it probably actually was.
Now,
I feel like I was underwater for a lot longer than I probably
on the
actually
scale
was.
from guppy to dolphin, how's your swimming?
I'm much better at swimming than my physique would tell you. I really swimming is my preferred physical activity.
Yeah,
nice.
cool.
I fancy myself a pretty good swimmer.
So you're a water bear.
Yeah, did a bunch of it. Yeah, dear listener, picture a water bear. That's me. So, down in the water, I'm tumbling around. Despite how much I like swimming, I've never learned how to open my eyes underwater and see, which wouldn't have been very helpful on account of salt water anyway.
Wait, you never learned how to open your eyes underwater?
No, I always had goggles.
Because I can teach you how.
I've opened my eyes underwater.
Okay.
I've not done it and been able to see, because every time I'm like, ah!
Well, here's the thing.
I'm right there with you. I've never successfully opened my eyes underwater and seen things.
Well, it's because you can't.
Yeah.
Can't see shit.
Right.
It hurts your eyes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It stings like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
0 stars. Shouldn't be doing in your face, everyone.
I always thought I had this mistaken idea that since saline solution is kind of like salt water in my mind, you could just gaze around in the ocean. That is not the truth.
No.
Yeah.
No, it stings like shit in the ocean, and it stings like shit in clorine water.
Yeah,
So.
burns like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Why
should
wear
not put
goggles?
chlorine in your eyes. Wear goggles, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time, even now.
If there's one takeaway from this story, it's wear some goggles. God damn it.
Definitely not a life vest.
No,
Life
seriously.
vests are for suckers. That's just the industry trying to get you.
I'm not trying to cheat Davy Jones. If he comes by it honestly, that's fine. But I had a fighting chance.
If the sea comes for me,
So I'm tumbling around in the water, and I can't really see on account of my eyes are closed. And I have the idea.
Had that experience myself.
Yeah, having it right now. I'm flashing back. But all right, well, I don't want to start swimming right away, because if you are pointed the wrong direction, this is actually a way that some people have drowned before, is you
Right.
get tossed into the water
You gotta
somehow
orient
randomly,
yourself.
and if you start swimming without orienting yourself, you just swim deeper, and then you exhaust yourself twice as fast.
Right.
And you can drown on the way up.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
something that you can see underwater, is where the light is coming from. So, I mean,
I didn't even try.
all right.
Scrub town. But I wait for I don't know, a second or two, because people are buoyant. Water bears are buoyant. So if I just
Truth.
wait for a second, I will sort of naturally begin to rise. Then I will learn which way is up, and I can start swimming that way.
Okay.
And during that time, I am legit worried. It's very cold. There's a boat somewhere on top of me. We're in the middle of Puget Sound, right? And all I can think is my parents let me go on this trip And if I die here, they're gonna, like, number one, they'll be sad, but then in, like, 3 months, when my mom is watching Oprah, like, the story's gonna break on there. And I can pinpoint the exact moment that I switched from being, like, reactive to proactive. It was the moment where my brain was like, kids drown all the time in stupid ways. You're gonna make local news, not Oprah. Now start swimming.
Damn it, man.
Yeah. Just that weird thing in my head where it's like, actually, you see, you do not have any amount of celebrity. And
You'll be lucky if you make it on to K News 12.
right.
Yeah.
So,
And it will not be like a good, like, what do they call it, a puff piece, you know, like propping
Yeah.
up. It'll be like a bunch of
Yeah.
dumb kids.
Right.
Like, this idiot didn't even wear clean underwear. Look at him getting pushed out of the drink.
look at him being the only one out of his 4 other friends who drowned after their boat kind of flipped over.
Yeah,
As
this
far as he knew.
this dude just bailed off the side of a boat and it was fine.
They're calling it a suicide.
Oh, no.
Boat was making a clearly textbook turn.
Yeah, right.
This kid had to bail.
Oh,
knows?
man.
So, swimming back up, making my way up towards the surface, and you can feel the pressure sort of like getting less and less. You have you start rising faster too, which gives you the idea, we're doing it. We're getting close to the surface. And I have my arms up, and I'm like pulling the water down in front of me, because I'm waiting for my hands to like break the surface of the water.
Yeah.
So that I could be like, all right, I'm 2 seconds away from taking a deep breath. We're going to do it. I want this information as fast as possible. Hands up. And I know that I must be getting close to the surface. And then there's a membrane.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And it's the most unfair thing I've ever experienced in my life.
right.
Is this fucking sail still on top of me.
Like, this is why I jumped out of the fucking boat.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I didn't get hit by this. And, like, I push up against it. And, like, no, this thing's probably a good ways underneath the water. And even if it is, like, about at the level of the surface, you can't push this whole thing up and make an air
Like
pocket.
a giant
Fuck no.
canvas sail with,
Yeah.
like, that's waterlogged now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, there's no way that, like, the pushing up on this plane is not going to work.
No.
We need a plan B.
Yeah.
Where were you on the boat?
Right, so you got to pick a direction.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like we were about right here, and then there were like wires here, and then the jib sail, and then home clear. So then I started moving forward. I felt for wires. I was like, okay, here's where this is. I can't fit through this gap because I'm gonna get tangled in wires and drown that
Fucking
way.
A.
fuck.
So I start pulling my way through there, and then the jib sail is still there and preventing me from getting that sweet, sweet air.
Fuck.
But I knew it was going to be there, so when I feel it, I'm like, you didn't get me. Wise to your tricks, jib sail. You're a tiny boy. I'm about to scoot past you. So I do. I scoot past it,
Nice.
break the surface of the water, and I breathe.
Fuck.
And that is one of the cornerstones of living. One of the best things that you can be doing.
Yeah, I don't recommend trying to quit.
Yeah.
I
Right.
failed every time.
Right?
How long do you think you were under for?
It couldn't have been more than like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But the first thing that I remember, so I break the surface of the water, kind of get the water out from my eyes. I hear my friend David calling my name because they couldn't see me.
Sure. Right.
And then I turn and I look. The boat is on its side.
Yeah.
Now, an important thing to know about sailboats, there's this thing, I think it's called the keel.
Yeah.
It's like a little board that kind of, it's like a shark fin, but for the ass end of the boat, on the underside.
It's the ridge line that runs along the base of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see my friend David is standing on that
Oh.
as the boat is like 90 degrees in
Yeah,
the
okay.
water.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
He's standing over, like, on that, he has his hands on the edge of the boat, and he's looking around for me, and I wave. And at the time, there's just too much shit going on, so I didn't, like, process the thing that must have happened. David's dry. David's dry because when the boat flipped over, he just slid over the edge.
He just like scrambled
yeah,
down
he
the
just
side.
scrambled over the edge and stood on the fucking keel.
That's some ninja shit right
Yeah.
there.
And the second that like he saw me, he was like, "All right, that's everyone. All right, let's flip the boat." I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" I just almost drowned. I'm trying to like get my bearings. You're already in flip the boat mode.
Yeah, can we just tread here for a minute?
Right.
Yeah.
Can we just kind of hold... Not everyone's on your fucking level, David. And his level is insane.
Yeah, not everyone is parkouring fucking capsized boats right now.
Yeah. Like, just the way that he was behaving, like, it made me think that he must have done this a million times, but there's no way he had ever been close to this scenario.
Yeah.
He's just good at jumping around on things.
He's just good at... Yeah.
Brooke, who had been on boats many times and knew the procedure of how to flip a boat back up, Brooke was in the fucking water with the other three of us.
Yeah.
David's the only one who's up there.
Do you think he might have secretly been a Spider-Man?
I've never seen David and Spider-Man in the same room at the same time.
Okay. Just checking.
It would not surprise me. He would make a good Spider-Man. This dude's fucking, like, fit.
Maybe you want to talk to him, you know, and just be like, so what's up with, you know, Night Monkey and stuff.
Right. So, Brooke climbs back on the boat with David. They stand on the keel, grab the edge of the boat, and lean back, which will cause the boat to flip back up, and it will be righted. And I am just sitting there.
Does that work with
just
a
treading
big,
water.
heavy, waterlogged sail, though?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's how you do.
All right.
There might be some amount of engineering that, like, makes the water easier for just,
Sure.
like, I don't know. I'm not a salesman
Yeah.
in any sense of the word.
Welcome to the last episode of Coming Down. We fucking peaked.
So, I'm treading water. And also worth noting, right before I went on this trip, I got my first, like, nice watch that I've ever owned. This, like, it was a Fossil watch.
Dope.
At, like, peak Fossil time.
Yeah.
And it had, like a flaming animated skull on it.
Of course it did.
And
Perfect.
I wore it on the boat because I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, no.
And the, like,
Let me guess, it wasn't water resistant.
it was water resistant, but the strap broke.
Son of
That,
a
like,
bitch.
secured the thing to it. So eventually I had to get, like, a new strap for it. But, so I'm, like, treading water. I see one of my fucking shoes floating.
No.
So I grab it. And, like, holding on to my watch with my shoe in, like, the same hand, kind of, like, doing the most pathetic, like, doggy paddle kind of motion, kicking my legs in this fucking freezing water as they flip the boat back up. And then the boat is back up. And it's the same feeling that I got at the train station in Seattle when we got there. It was like, all right, well, like, this is over with now. Like, we're going to get back into the boat and we'll just go back to the docks. And, like, everything's going to be fine from here on out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Brooke and David are trying to get back into the boat. Like, it's a slippery boat, and you know, David is now wet. David has officially gotten wet from riding the boat.
All right, he had to, like, do the whole, like,
Yeah.
keel haul thing.
Even David would have a hard time flipping back over onto the top of the boat.
He'd have to have someone else doing the whole fucking stand on the keel thing, you know, and then...
No.
Like, he would be entitled to, like, a Congressional Medal of Honor if he could do that stunt. Like, they would have to name an X Games event after him. For doing it. But, so they're
I
trying to,
can
like...
skip rope while I'm doing it.
They're trying to, like, clamber back in, and, like, I see the boat, like, rise up and then just kind of, like, hang out in the middle. And we all kind of breathe, like, a sigh of relief. And then the wind picks up again.
Yeah.
And the thing that, like, we still don't know, we didn't know this until after the fact, was that that rope line, like, that we cleated earlier to do that turn had been cleated the whole time.
Oh, fuck.
And the position that we had the sail in was basically, like, straight.
No.
Right down the middle of the boat.
Oh.
So when it tipped over the first time...
So then if you get a crosswind, it just totally just pushes it over.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is what happened the first time.
Uh-huh.
Tipped over like that. We bring it back up, Then the wind starts blowing in the other direction.
Oh, fuck.
And it has picked up at just the right time.
You like plug your nose, you like duck and roll.
I'm not in the path this time.
Yeah.
But I see like the boat come up, it rights itself, you breathe your sigh of relief, and then the exact moment that you do that, sail just keeps going, baby. The wind picked up from like the same direction, carried the momentum over. Now the boat tips over the other way.
Just does a barrel roll.
And keeps going and capsizes.
Oh, it actually fucking did?
We hit the full fucking capsize.
Oh, no.
And now we don't know how to flip this boat back up.
Yeah, there's no easy way there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty upset about this whole thing. This is not going terribly
Wait,
well.
and so you hadn't even made it back in the boat?
No, nobody made it back inside the boat.
Okay.
Which is good, because they might have gotten hurt
Right,
when it
totally.
did the other thing. But we all just kind of... If you could have your hands on your hips in the water, that's how we would have been looking at this thing. It's fucking capsized.
Some dudes treading water with their hands on their hips.
So the rest of them like swim up to the boat and they like clamber on top of it and they're kind of spread out. And I start like getting closer to the boat, but let me tell you, I've gone swimming in a lot of like public pools where the water is like 77 degrees, something like that.
Sure.
Like when you jump in, it's really cold.
Yeah.
But you let your body get used to it a couple minutes.
Only takes a couple
Yeah, it
minutes.
feels fine.
Sure.
And that's what I'm feeling now, baby. Like, this water was really cold when I got in, and now I'm, like, in the water.
Peed a couple of times.
And now, like, I think I'm getting used to it. I think I've gotten used to the temperature of this water. Because I'm feeling fine. And I'm so tired.
Oh, no.
I don't want to climb up on top of this boat. And, like, it's so windy. The wind is just going to make me really cold when I'm on top of the boat.
Oh, no.
It actually kind of feels like a hot tub. This is great. Like, I think I'm like insulated or something. Like, this is a great deal.
This half wetsuit is doing its job.
God, the fucking work being put in now. I feel great. I kind of want to take a nap. Feel very warm.
Guys, just leave me here. Come back once you like do a lap or something.
No, they're telling me like, all right, like come up on the boat. And I'm like, I think I'm good. Like, this is fine. And they're like, what? No, like you need to get on the boat. I'm like, no, like I feel warm now. Like I've gotten used to it. And they're like, seriously get on the boat. And it's like, you fucking asshole. Like, God, oh, Jesse, always doing the wrong thing. Slowly slide my, like, hypothermic ass back on this fucking boat. Just irritated at my friends for saving my life.
Yeah.
A couple of minutes go by, and this, like, when I say yacht, I don't mean like the yachtiest yacht you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Sure.
But this was like it was a yacht.
Like, not just like a speedboat sort of thing or a motorboat.
No, it had like an inside and like a downstairs.
Okay.
But it wasn't much larger than like your average apartment.
Yeah.
Kind of like pulls up near us.
Pretty good for a boat, though.
Yeah, like for a boat. Like
I mean, it was a yacht.
this is the biggest boat that I've been on.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert, we ended up getting on this boat. Yeah.
Wait, so...
But you never got on the giant ferry?
We never got on the giant ferry. We were afraid of it.
Fuck.
So a yacht just happened to cruise by?
Yeah, they saw us out there, and
They're probably just watching you fuck it up.
Right.
Oh, God, now we gotta go rescue these
Yeah,
assholes.
so they zoom up nearby, and like, here's the thing: is this sounds like a stupid question, but it's one of those handshakes where like you have to like ask and initiate. Do you guys need help?
You guys all right there? You're just gonna paddle this one home.
Oh, pardon me. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Oh no, our friend Jesse thought he was just gonna die in the ocean real quick. And, the rest of us, I think, we're probably just gonna hang out here and watch it happen.
Yeah.
You guys go about your business.
This guy's gonna take a nap. We're gonna sit here and probably all take naps here shortly.
Brooke's dad's
we're playing poker. You want us to do that?
Brooke's dad's gonna be pissed at us when we get back, so we're just gonna kind of like stall for time for a little bit.
We're milking it until we think of a good excuse.
Yeah, we want him to enjoy the rest of his life that he has left to enjoy. But no, like they were like chill. We were like, yes, very much, thank you. And they're like, all right, well, like here's like the ass end of our boat where there's like a thing and a ladder, and you can climb up and do the thing. And they're, all right, well, come on over to this. And I slide off back into the water, which still pretty primo warm.
Bathwater, am I
But it was great. And I start I go towards the boat, and I'm gonna start like climbing up on like the back part of it, and I feel a little bit of like pull from like under the boat. And my brain is like, I wonder if that's the propellers like sucking me in.
Oh shit! That's
Let's
a
not
terrifying
worry about
thought.
that. Let's go and get on this boat. So I clamber up onto the boat, climb the ladder like up to the top, and they they give me a towel. So they were from Australia.
Whoa.
The name of their boat was the Our Lady.
Wait. As
Like-
in O-U-R?
Yeah, O-U-R.
Okay.
The Our Lady.
The Our Lady. Yeah.
They had a copy of Sun Tzu's The Art of War on the like coffee table inside of the living space.
Nice.
They had a black cat on the boat.
Nice.
Sick.
The black cat's name was the General,
Yes.
Jesus.
and they handed me a cup of coffee.
So I didn't know that this was going to turn into the luckiest day of your life.
Yeah, we swung
day, not the
wildly.
General.
Yeah. The needle swung wildly on that day. But they handed me like a cup of coffee, and I was like, coffee's kind of gross. I don't really want to drink it. Just me, like, story of my life, being repelled by the things that will save my life. Like, no, I don't want to get out of the water. It seems fine. Oh, a towel. I feel kind of bad, but I am dripping all over your nice yacht that you've kindly invited me aboard. Cup of coffee. Coffee is kind of gross. Well, I guess if you insist.
Not really my bag. You got like a soda or
Right. God. But
some Sunny D maybe?
But so that was possibly one of the best cups of coffee I've ever had.
Oh, I
I'll
bet.
bet.
That entirely reintroduced me to the experience, and probably also had something to do with like the fact that they probably weren't drinking dirt cheap awful coffee.
Right.
Probably
They
not.
probably had a decent roast. And,
Right? Yeah, I
Also
mean, if they
fair.
can like sail around on a yacht with their cat,
Yeah, right.
you know, they're probably doing all right.
That's got to be some kind of bad luck. But, not for them. Well, I guess if it's a black cat, then it probably double cancels, right? That's how luck works.
Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to refer to the old Sailor's Journal. To
I mean-
see,
We have a spreadsheet.
Right?
no.
But, no, like, have you guys ever had a cup of coffee that's the right temperature, which is as hot as it can possibly be without hurting you?
Yeah, that's the only temperature, really.
That's it's beautiful, and it was extra beautiful in that moment where I was like, this is probably going to be bad. And I was like, oh, my organs love this. The taste, sure, whatever. More of this feel, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Slams cup of coffee.
Plus real warmth, which you desperately needed.
Yeah. Also emotional warmth, but I didn't know that yet.
Can you just slather the rest of my body in whatever this divine substance is?
Right. So they hook up a line to the capsized boat and tow it back to shore.
Whoa, you got a toe too?
Yeah, it was not. It also
I thought y'all were
destroyed
just
the
like,
sail on
well,
the boat.
they're just like, fucking, this thing's gone. We're gonna have to explain this one.
Nah, this was a full service rescue.
That is
done by these
amazing.
people. Shout out to Australia for producing people who were this amazing.
Seriously,
Right?
that is incredible.
So they tow the boat back to shore, which of course destroys the sail because it is pointing straight down.
Well, right.
And it gets real
Right.
shallow there. And Brooke
Oh,
is-
right. Once you get and then it just scrapes along
Yeah,
the bottom,
yeah.
and just
You're
fucking
good.
trashes it.
You're
Yeah.
good. You're good. SpongeBob reference, everyone. But so we get back to shore and we see again Brooke's mom and dad are always there waiting for David and I after our terrible event on this trip, and they're there and Brooke is looks very upset and like freaked out and worried. And of course his dad's like, we're literally just glad you didn't die. Like,
Yeah.
we'll worry about all this shit
So
later.
they're on the shore waiting to pick you guys up.
Yeah, they were
Oh, right.
they were eating at a Sherry's watching us
Wait.
Jesus.
fuck around in the harbor. So they got to see us fucking flip and then capsize and then get rescued.
Oh, so you weren't even that far off of shore?
No.
Okay. It makes... Okay. So that's fine. It also makes a lot more sense as to why a boat may have just, like, passed by.
Oh, yeah,
I thought
no,
you guys were
yeah.
kind of, like, out.
No, we
like,
weren't
out
even-
in some, like, deep water, and it's just like, oh, a mysterious Australian yacht cruises by with a black cat named the General. Like,
No.
okay.
This whole event probably took about 90 minutes to transpire.
Oh,
like,
fuck,
super
seriously?
nuts.
Oh, man.
All within sight of a local Sherry.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
if we were out on like the proper ocean, like I would be extra fucked
Wait.
up by natural law.
Hold on.
Chum for sharks.
I have a whole other host of questions. So they're sitting in this Sherry's like, oh shit, their sailboat just capsized.
Yeah.
Like, did they like call someone, or were
Yeah,
they just
I
like
think
eating
they-
their pie? Like, fuck.
Oh, let's see how they get out of this one.
Yeah, yeah, this is some crazy shit.
It was a pretty good birthday my son's having. I was enjoyed possibly his last.
I was gonna pop a flare and call the Coast Guard, but
Right.
how about you? They got a handle on this.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe like I think they definitely like called someone, but either the yacht was like responding to the call and that's
Okay.
how they got
Yeah,
out to us,
yeah.
or they just got to us faster than whoever was called. But yeah, no, they definitely weren't just watching like, huh, weird. Fucking wild, my dudes.
Whoa, it looks like Jesse's not getting on the boat. This isn't going to be a good phone call.
Oh, God. So we get out of the boat. I get... so Safeway, to this day, will still sell this thing, and it's delicious every time I've seen it. It's like a weird artisanal hunk of bread that has cheddar cheese and jalapenos on the top of it.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And I would like eat like a hunk of that with like some ham like shoved in the middle. So that's what they had when we were in like the back of their car.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, just waiting for like all the other stuff to end, and then we still had this like bonfire thing to do that night.
Oh, yeah, nice. Oh, from the tree earlier, too.
Yeah, we had all that fun stuff to look forward to.
You're like, might as well burn this fucking boat now. This fucking toast.
I think they did eventually get it repaired, but it was
I was
out
gonna
of
say, it's just the
commission for a
mast and
long
the
time.
sails.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know.
Who cares? All the important parts of the boat. No, so that is mostly the end of the story, but there's also just one last little salt in the wound. So
Wait, so you did go back, had the bonfire, everything's cool?
yeah, so this is on the way to the bonfire.
Okay.
So one of my steel-toed boots is in Davy Jones's locker.
Right.
Right.
So
So you're still wearing your, like, sea shoes or whatever they had given you?
I think I must have been like barefoot or in socks.
I was gonna say, like, there's no sea shoes. It's
Yeah.
you're just barefoot.
So I did have another pair of like footwear,
Uh-huh.
and it was a pair of like very cheap flip-flops that I got like the last time I went to the beach with my family. These things were like garbage, and I didn't wear them on the boat because I thought it would just be better to be barefoot.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, flip flops are beach shoes, not boat shoes.
Yeah. But so like I only have my left steel toe boots. So that's no longer an option for me to wear those for this trip. But I've got this pair of like flip flops. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I can just wear those and like flop about. That'll be great. Monty, as it turns out, is a fucking asshole. Oh, no. As we're like walking back up towards Brooke's like house, like down their like driveway, he decides to give me a flat tire on one of my flip flops.
No.
What?
And it snaps and breaks.
Of course.
Oh, dude. After everything you've been through, he's like, how about this?
Right?
Piece of shit.
So it snaps and breaks, and I'm like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen now. But as fate would have it, he broke the left one.
I was gonna say. There is a way out of this.
So I have a steel-toed boot on my left foot and a flip-flop on my right foot. And the next morning, like, I go through the entire bonfire night like that.
And then you're like, hey, are any of those youth group girls going to be around? Because really love for them to see me like this.
God, this is how I wanted to meet all of your new friends up in Port Townsend, Brooke.
Yeah.
Right?
Looking like a fucking, like, time-traveling homeless person.
They call me Lefty. What is
Yeah.
that? I only have one left shoe.
Some fucking, like, weird-ass anime character. Like, I have a special left kick, and it has to be contained by this steel-toe boot.
Right?
Right? Yeah,
But I'm
totally.
super relaxed, so that I wear a flip-flop on the other foot.
These are my two personalities.
Yeah.
There are two wolves that live inside of you. One wears steel-toe boots, and the other one wears cheap beach flip-flops. And that's how I got to walk back to the train station. I got to ride the train like
God.
that back to Portland. I got to get out and wait for my parents at the train station in Portland like that.
Fuck.
Like, what happened to you?
Yeah, I gave them the, like, short version of the story the night before, and then had to give them the full version of the story the next day.
Holy shit.
Then had to go and get a new pair of steel-toe boots because I still needed them for class.
Yeah.
But I believe I still have the one that survived as, like, a relic I keep on my shelf.
Yeah, hell
Bronze
yeah.
that fucker.
Yeah.
Dude, no shit.
It and me survived a boat falling twice.
Damn. Dude, that is terrifying, man.
Right?
I have a small... I like to swim, and I did swimming lessons when I was a kid and was quite good at it, but open water scares the shit out of me.
I've never capsized a boat on the ocean, but I have capsized a raft while whitewater rafting with the completely inept guide whose name is my father. And so I know, like, the fear of being submerged and, like, not knowing which direction is up, and understanding that
Yeah.
like having this knowledge could mean the difference between life or death in the moment, and that shit is real, man.
Yeah.
So, like, in the years since then, like, going on the river raft float, you know, where they take a bunch of beers and put them in a cooler, and we're all gonna kind of, like,
Love that shit.
go down this thing. It's a thing, and a lot of people love it. And in my brain, I'm like, I would probably have a medium time getting sunburnt and day drunk as I'm, like, floating down this river, and I'm, like, half hot from being, like, baked in the sun and half too cold from having my feet in the water.
That's about the best you can hope for, yeah.
But then also the entirety of the time, I'm just going to be thinking, like, oh, this is that water that'll kill you. It's that natural water. It doesn't care if you live or die. There's no lifeguards. Probably can't count on David, because if shit gets all real, he's going to be doing kickflips on his raft.
Yeah.
Also, your family's not just watching from a Sherry's.
Yeah, right.
You know? Yeah.
God, like, I remember, like, someone trying to get me to go, like, kayaking with them. And, like, I've been, like, rafting and stuff. And that was, like, fine and well and good. Because it was the most mellow experience ever. I did a summer camp where I was, like, a counselor for Japanese exchange students. And, like, got paid for it. Like, this was insane.
Hell yeah.
It was, like, the
Nice.
best, like, week of my summer. But one of the things that we did was we'd get on, like, the raft and you go down the river. And the only thing that matters is that there's a fork. And if you go to the left, that's where you're supposed to go. And that's all well and good. And if you go to the right, you'll wind up in the exact same place. But it'll be kind of choppy for a second.
Sure.
Like, there were no lower stakes than, like, this fork in this river. But I sure did tell all the students that we had to go to the left because off to the right there was a waterfall with sharks at the bottom.
Oh, shit.
Which I knew the Japanese words for because I watched a lot of Naruto. But yeah, no, someone was like, hey, do you want to go, like, kayaking? And I was like, yeah, water danger, no thank you. And they're like, no, it's super cool because, like, the kayak is designed to, like, it'll flip over super easily, but then you can ride it, like, even easier.
Oh, what a monster.
And I was like, that... So what this sounds like to me is you want me to get into the water in a a firm sleeping bag
Yep.
that I can't unzip or pull my legs out of.
Yep.
You're like, I'm already halfway in the coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want
And if
me to-
something bad happens, I have to rely on just the top half of my body knowing what the fuck to do.
Yep. I'm gonna waterboard myself.
Yeah,
is
right.
The like best outcome.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I would totally love for this to be mostly okay for a little while, and then to just like totally flip and drag my fucking face on the gravel at the bottom of the river
Right.
until my dumbass figures out how to flip myself right up.
What you gotta do is just blow really hard. At that
Yeah, right. Man, I would love to be just like subtly bleeding for the last like 20 minutes of this thing.
Hey,
and then
my-
for you to tell me, hey, that was fun, right?
All right, we're having a good time here.
But yeah, no, that is the closest I've ever come to death.
That's pretty close, dude.
Yeah.
That's
That'll
terrifying.
do. That'll do.
Yeah, holy shit, man.
I did not learn how close I came to death until like the third or fourth time I told this story, and someone else knew the like warning signs of hypothermia.
That's the scariest part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah. I mean, like the whole like trapped underneath the sails shit is like nightmare fuel. But like,
And, you know, good on you for the quick thinking, like, because when you're disoriented, like, you know, not everyone has the wherewithal to sort of put that together. Like, okay, this is
Right.
my positioning. This is probably where these pieces are. Like, if you didn't know, man, like, you could have swam the wrong direction under that sail and just...
well, and it's so
oh, God,
easy
dude.
to succumb to just straight animal panic and like just try to like fight your way to the top. You know?
Right, yeah, I'm going to claw through this thing.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
We could do it. I'm a winner.
But I mean,
No.
like you could have gotten tangled in wires. Like there's a bunch of shit that could have gone wrong. But yeah, like honestly, that fucking hypothermia sequence was the scariest part for me too. Like, fuck, dude.
Dude, yeah, that is so scary. And to think that it happened so quickly. I mean, you weren't in
Yeah.
that water that long.
And you were wearing most of a wetsuit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and like the part where I feel like it's really unfair of nature to kill you like this. You would think that like, oh, hypothermia, like you're dying because your body temperature is going way too low. That would just mean you feel really cold and then you feel colder and then you keep feeling cold and then
Right.
you die. But no, there's that period where you're like, all right, baby, like this is not bad. I'm gonna relax by the edge of this boat.
Let's just kick it here. It's good.
Yeah.
It's like your body, like, call it.
No.
Call it. We're too close to dying. Like, I don't want to limp away from this in the off chance this idiot finds his way out of the cold water.
Well, right, because that's the thing when people, like, die from hypothermia, like, out in the woods or whatever, like, they'll take off their clothes and stuff at the
they start
end.
feeling
Oh, I'm too hot.
Yeah, I'm like, burn it up. Fuck. Yeah, it is gnarly. More on that subject of the weird things our brain sort of tricks us into to get us through tough times.
Yeah.
Right.
But, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, no, worked out for me, question mark.
Well, fuck, man. I'm glad you're okay. I'm
Yeah,
glad
dude.
everyone else was okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, it was a fun time. His parents did not kill him.
That's good.
I think he got a little bit of a hard time for a little bit. They definitely dunked on him.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
Yeah.
so much. And, like,
And he kind of deserves it, you know.
yeah, but just imagine, like, dude who's been, like, I don't think he was necessarily a preacher, right? I think he was, like, he had some sort of ordainsmanship to him. Like, he had, like, maybe some kind of a rank. But just imagine the chillest, most understanding, gentle Christian man ever dunking on you mercilessly as you, like, flip the boat. What a wild time.
Was that the first foreign general that you'd met?
Yeah. Yeah, first of many.
Excellent. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know.
Man, I just want to know more about these people, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
you should have got their number.
Look, if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
You're Australian and you had a yacht with a general on it.
Yeah.
your yacht's name was the Hour Lady and you saved a bunch of fucking idiots, hit
Yeah.
me up.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, we want to hear your side of the story.
Right?
Love it.
Yeah, always check your weather advisories, always wear a full wetsuit, and just never go outside.